Al-Jahlu. Okay. This is Al-Jahl. What is Al-Jahl?
Ignorance.
Ignorance. But Jahl here is based on Al-Jahlu bil-Ahkam. If I call you that you are ignorant, you will be offended. But if you don't have, and it's not fair to call a person you are completely ignorant, because every person knows something. That's the reason why when they're talking about jahl in this field, they're talking about a jahl who doesn't know this. So it's easy to fall in this jahl, right? It's easy to fall in this jahl, because if you say something is wajib and it's not wajib, you acted based on jahl, right? But let's take the base of jahl in the Arab, how they used to call it doing things that will make others upset. Doing things that knowing that it's really terrible, but it's going to make others upset. I think that's been practiced a lot. That's why they said in Arabic, they said, لا يجهلن علينا أحد نجهل عليه بجهل الجاهلين. It's really bad. He said, it's a tribe. They have this symbol. They said, لا يجهلن علينا أحد. No one will act ignorant against us, except نجهل عليه بجهل الجاهلين. We will use the ignorant that he used against us and extra and every kind of ignorant for the ignorant people. So that means that we really going to be bad against them. That's a tribe in they was doing. So, and also the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, there are people who are called al-Jahiliyyah. Al-Jahiliyyah. So he told Abu Dhar, Anta rajulun or imrun fika jahiliyyah. One of the Sahaba, when he said something that he should not say, unknowingly, he told him, you have jahiliyyah in you. You have jahiliyyah in you. Does it mean that he was completely ignorant? No, he acted based on something that he should not act that way. He doesn't know that he was supposed to act that way. So if he says things here, in fiqh, you deserve to be called something here that is not correct, that you don't know, you deserve to be called jahil. And it's not an insult, it's a fact. It's not an insult. It's a fact because you did not know, and the best description they have for you is al-jahl. Jahl is to see things in a different form of its reality.
Without context, I would say.
No, actually, you look at Sa'ad, you look at Asad. You say Asad is wearing black. You say Asad is wearing white.
Well, then you just got some problems.
Actually, it happens. So that's exactly what they want to tell you, how dangerous it is to say something you don't know. So you see Asad, you say Asad is wearing, we all know Asad is wearing black, you say Asad is wearing white. You know why? Because you don't have the ability to know that Asad is wearing black. That's jahl. So if you accept this is jahl, then you should be very okay if you say something here and they call you jahil. Because you're putting something, you're flipping something that wasn't supposed to be flipped.
That can harm somebody.
Huh?
That can harm somebody.
Yeah, actually, the harm is not there, but this is one. You said, no, this is free. That's exactly what they're saying. تصور الأمر بما ليس في حقيقته. So you want to give this one to be number 3. That's exactly how it is. So this hukum was supposed to be here, or it's not even here, or it's supposed to be here, you put it here. So you're putting the hukum that was supposed to be 1 to 3. That's how dangerous it is. And what is the opposite of jahl?
So yeah.
Al-ilm. So al-ilm is تصور الأمر بما هو حقيقته. Right? To describe the thing as it is, origin, as it is. So the jahl is opposite of that. To give it a different description that is not the origin of it. That is jahl. So تصور الشيء على خلاف ما هو به. That's what the definition has. تصور الشيء على خلاف ما هو به. Just like saying this is 3 and this is 1. That is jahl. In another way, before you say something, that's why Imam Bukhari, he said, Bab al-ilmu qabla al-qawli wal-amal. The chapter of knowledge before saying or doing. So before you say it, you have to know it. If not, if you say it without knowing it, you are a jahil. That what you said is called jahl, and because you said it, you should be called al-jahil. Should be called al-jahil. So that's the reason why the Prophet did not mean to offend people of Makkah when he said jahiliyyah, because they see things upside down. It was supposed to be 1, they said it's 2. So they call it jahiliyyah. So that's the same thing applies here. Okay? So now if you know this, then we'll go to something called, are we taking a lot?
So jahl can be something that you change knowingly or unknowingly? Or
Knowingly or unknowingly. Like, most of it is going to be unknowingly.
Yeah.
Because if you are certain, it's not jahl anymore. If you learn and based on what you're saying, on the process that you did, on the process you learn, based on the asl that you take, that's why we're teaching you a process. So this is fara, right? This is the fara. It's taken from the asl, right? So you have the branch. It's taken from the origin. If you use this process and issue a ruling, it cannot be jahl. It cannot be jahl. It has to be knowledge. It has to be ilm. So but if you don't take anything from here and then you issue here, that's jahl. Because the process of eliminating jahl, you adopt that process.
So
No, you abandon the process of eliminating jahl, avoiding jahl. You eliminate that process.
So in the beginning you said that jahl is when you do something that's bad or upset somebody knowingly or unknowingly. But in fiqh, it means only unknowingly.
Yes. Linguistically, the other one. The other one is
in fiqh,
linguistically.
it's only unknown.
Yes.
Okay.
So now, the process now you're doing right now is to take the fara, the branch from the root, right? So if you cut this and you act here, that's it, you're acting jahl. You're acting jahl. So then al-ilm in the fiqh is divided into 2, and that is very, very, very important, because most of the actions are going to be divided into 2. They call al-ilm al-muktasab. They call it al-ilm al-daruri. Daruri. Al-ilm al-muktasab. Al-muktasab. Al-ilm al-daruri and al-ilm al-muktasab. So al-ilm al-daruri ما لم يقع على نظر واستدلال كالعلم الواقع بإحدى الحواس الخمس. That's العلم الضروري. The ilm that is by default. That's علم الضروري. The knowledge that is by default. This one is you use your 5 common sense, or your 5 common sense detect something for you. That is ilm al-darura. Like, like for example, you have a cat, right? And it's a noob. You have a noob, right? How do they know that no?
Yeah.
How do they suck their?
They usually they feel it.
They feel it, right?
They can't see.
They cannot see, right? But somebody come and tell, hey, you have to move here, your tongue, your mouth, you do this. No. They know it by default, right? And it become like the sit. Right?
Yeah.
And it's up. So the kid, when they start growing, to a point, they will not be naked in front of people. It stops. It's just by default, it stops. They will not feel like when I go out. They will not pee, they will not, you don't have to tell them those things. But at some point, they don't care. At some point, but they reach a certain point, they know, they sit. Right? So this is the knowledge that is known by default. Everybody will have that knowledge. Okay? So that is the second one. So the fiqh, does fiqh focus on this? No. Fiqh doesn't focus on this. So this is the knowledge that we are all equal to. We will all know. We'll all know that if we have to use the bathroom, we go use the bathroom. Right? If we have the common. That's why they call it al-hawas al-khams. Your five common sense, right? That's al-ilm al-darur. So this one, fiqh actually does not have a problem with this till you develop or you upgrade your five common sense to bring something that is not part of the five common sense knowledge. Okay? That's fiqh will tell you, oh, this is not part of it because you are unique and you should not be unique because you are not Allah, you're a human being. The second thing will be al-ilm muktasab, and this is focus. Al-ilm al-muktasab is فهو الموقوف على النظر والاستدلال. That's very important. So this knowledge, al-muktasab is by effort.
Yeah, by earning it.
By earning it. So this knowledge is the knowledge that we want to learn as fuqaha, as students of knowledge. The knowledge that you're sitting here and trying to know it. That is al-ilm al-muktasab. Al-ilm al-muktasab. And differentiating this will take you time. Will take you time to be able to say, this knowledge is by default, right? This knowledge, it has to be ilm muktasab. What will help you is, ilm al-muktasab is a knowledge that you know by researching or using a dalil. Research is something else. Al-istidlal is the most important thing. So, that's why the Salaf, they said, Al-ilmu ma qala Allah wa qala Rasul fama ada fawsa shayateen. So they said, the knowledge is what Allah said and His Messenger. Anything else is whisper of shaitans. They are telling you, al-ilm muktasab, the knowledge that you get it by effort is the knowledge that you will learn. And that knowledge that you are learning has to be, if it is, right? It has to be focused on dalil. It has to be focused on dalil. That's why they said, لولا الدليل لشاء من شاء ما قال. If there was no dalil, anyone can stand up and say whatever they want to say. Right? But because of a dalil, you have to say something and prove it. So that's al-ilm al-muktasab. That's what you focus on. You say something, okay, we didn't find it in the Quran, we didn't find it in Sunnah. Okay, you are far'i, you are faqih. From which principle it came from? That's a dalil. That is your principle. That is the principle that you use to bring the hukm. And we can use one principle, and we all have differences, but we all go back to the same principle again. But without a principle, it's nothing because there's no istidlal in it. So then you will have a problem if you see people having huge differences in one mas'ala. Ask them, what is your proof? The same. What is your proof? The same. What is your proof? The same. How can we justify for them? What is the process? I talked about it. What is the process of justifying that? No. No.
That's a process of what?
What is the process? How can we justify people who use the same proof and have differences? No.
Interpretation.
Yes. Al-ikhtilafu fi fahm dalil. It's one proof, but they struggle to understand it. They have differences understanding what was said. I give an example. The Prophet said, go to Bani Qurayd and pray Asr, right? Some Sahaba, they said, that's it, Asr time, we pray. He just wants us to rush, to reach there, right? The other Sahaba, they said, no, he meant there. When the Prophet came, he said, both of you are right. So that khilaf is allowed. Because it's rooted from the Sahaba, and these are many, the tayammum thing. Umar, he rolled, right? So these things, they happen, but when they happen, how can we justify for it? We say they all use the same dalil, but they all have their own understanding of that dalil, and you cannot put them together. Because of my understanding, like he said, when you go down for ruku', for sujood, do not go down like a camel. And they all come and sit and look at the camel. Right? And one said, oh, the camel goes with the hands first. No, the knees first. What can you do? That's the same people that are doing their study, their research, right? And then they will issue a fatwa based on, oh, the camel goes down with the hands. And they said the best thing to go with the hands. Who did that? It's the fuqaha. Is there? It's the fuqaha who did that. Because they will come and say, the Prophet said something, we all come, oh, you said this, let's go to the camel. Let's go to the camel. But when he says something that we cannot have differences with, then the fuqaha will say, okay, we have no problem with that.
It won't be fit, right?
It won't, yeah, it's not something that needs ijtihad in it.
So it won't be fit.
And the fiqh is, you're saying not fiqh, but it's going to be put in the field of fiqh, but it's not the fiqh that we're talking about. Okay. It's not going to be in this, in a hukm that the fuqaha put in, okay, based on the ijtihad that they made, taking it from the asl. Because there's no need for it. There's no need for it, okay? So then, al-ilm, yanqasim ila qismayn. Ilm has two categories, basically. One is al-ilm al-daruri. Daruri is necessity, right? Ilm that everybody will know, right? They will know it. They will know it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, the baby when they come out, they just open their eyes. We tell them to open their eyes.
Or just start breathing.
Just start
They have to
breathing.
teach
Yes.
people how to breathe.
Breathing. You don't. It's just come, right? And when they feel hungry, they know that they have to eat, right? They have to cry for their for the food, right? So all those things, and that with animals, and we are all the same into these things. Al-ilm al-darur. But al-ilm al-muktasab, this is where we focus on. As far as we are concerned, we focus on two things: to strive and base the knowledge upon the dalil. If not, it's not going to be considered this knowledge, right? So I will leave you with the one thing: everything that you say, you have to have a dalil. As far as it's concerned, everything you say, you have to have a dalil. If not, you are digging a hole for yourself. That's how it should be. That doesn't mean that you will not see a dalil that go against your dalil. But then you may smell and say, oh, you may smell where the difference is coming from. You may say, oh, I know where it's coming from. It's coming from maybe Imam Shafi'i, he understands it. And not just Imam Shafi'i also, you will go to the same hadith, you say, okay, I know exactly. What can you do? Just go around it. You cannot force them to accept. You cannot force them to accept what you're saying. There's no need even to convince them. This fiqh. There's no need to convince them, because you cannot convince them, because they both are right. What make them right? That's a question, final question. What make both of them right?
Using the asl, using the foundation.
Using the foundation. If somebody comes to you and say, making a wudu, you have to renew after you make masah. You have to renew the water to masah on your ear, right? And somebody will tell you, oh no, you don't have to use that. The thing that you use to make masah, the water, the same water, you can use it to make masah on your ear. Do I have to be there fighting? No, it's a khilaf that came from where?
The same proof.
Okay, now, where they're gonna put it?
Where are they gonna put it?
Yes,
The same thing.
yes, masah al-udhunayn. Making masah on your ear, regardless of renewing the water or renewing. Where it's gonna be?
It would be in the Bible.
Three different answers.
Just doing
Can
it
we-
here.
Yep, making the masah on the udhunayn. Where it's gonna be?
But we need to know some asl.
Yep.
For us to be able to do that.
Yep.
We can't just.
Yep. But now just say where you think it's gonna be. So you're telling me, if you do not have masah on your udhun, you are sinful. Exactly what you told me. Okay, I want to recite the Quran. When I have my own wudu, I made a wudu and I forget to wipe my ears, or I didn't wipe my ears, I'm sinful. That's not fair.
Whatever is required for you to do the wajib becomes wajib.
Yes.
But who said it's wajib?
You want to touch the Quran, you have to have wudu. If you don't rub your ears,
I don't have to.
yes.
I don't have to.
Talking about the Buddhist, right?
You ask your question. The masah for your ears is part of the wudu. And if you don't do it, you didn't complete your wudu. But the question I thought you were talking about is same water.
Same water.
Or different water.
No, now I came back to the mas'al al-udhunayn. Is it wajib or not?
No, it's not wajib. Al-Udhunayn. It's not wajib.
They said it's wajib.
Yeah.
Yeah, where we're gonna put mas'al, where we're gonna put it? Here or here or here or here or here?
We need to know.
Huh?
We need to know the.
So the asl is
What is the asl? What is
the
the
asl, huh?
Is that sahih?
Sahih?
Is that sahih? This is a process.
No. As it say, what is the
Asl.
Yeah.
Good. What is the asl?
We can't.
If we go to the Quran, we have a problem. If we go to the Quran, then we have a problem. Because the Quran, did you hear the Quran say udhun?
No.
The Quran, the time that I hear this udhun, it says cut it off, right? Or udhun bil udhun. Right? But udhun in wudu, it didn't say udhun.
We have also in the hadith.
The hadith.
Which hadith?
What is the hadith?
What is the hadith?
Which you're asking the jahil.
Now you go back, you go to hadith of Uthman ibn Affan. He brought a wudu, which is a place that you used to. He said, I will teach you the wudu of the Prophet ﷺ. So when he made the wudu, he made masah on his ears. Now, that's asl, right? Now, Ibn Mas'ud called the Sahaba, told the Tabi'in and said, I will teach you the wudu of the Prophet ﷺ. He made masah on his ear. Uthman renewed the water. Ibn Mas'ud renewed the water. And they all taken from the Prophet ﷺ. So then can we reject mas of the udhun? No. But can we combine all to agree on renewing or not renewing?
No.
Because they have asl. Ibn Mas'ud is asl, right? And Uthman is asl.
Right.
And that's it. That's really the problem. That's the reason why then.
So clarification.
So you're saying
Any Sahaba
so why
that did not
No.
touch his ear?
No.
So everybody did.
Everybody did.
Okay.
Yes.
Then it's wajib. It's a wajib. Yes.
What did you say? You
Wait,
said every Sahaba after?
Every Sahaba that was
He
teaching
described the wudu.
or described the wudu.
Yeah. They always did
Whether
this.
they renewed, didn't renew, that's not the
Yeah.
question.
But that would be a different
It is
branch.
the
You
question.
have one branch of wiping the ear, and two branches of whether it's.
Yes. So wiping the ear, no, that's hassle, right?
Right. Has to
But that's why I went back and I come back to the branch. The branch is renewing the water or not renewing the water.
Then,
Oh,
if you do it, you're rewarded.
Uh-huh.
If you leave it, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Mandu.
Mandu.
Mandub.
There we go. Nice.
No.
No.
No, it depends on which one you follow, which proof you're gonna, which also you're gonna go with.
So
If you choose the also of.
Oh, mubah.
That's what
No, it's
but
neutral.
That's if you combine them. We're not combining them. We have one faqih that goes with Ibn Mas'ud. We have one faqih that
No,
goes
actually, it's gonna be it's gonna be here. You know why? Knowingly that, for example, you have to renew, or you don't have to renew. Both are standing. You come and say, I don't care. I'll do this or this. Doesn't matter. As long as you do the masih. You are not rewarded by making a choice.
So it is. But is there some fuqaha that go this way and go that way?
Yeah, this one is here, this one is here.
But in the fuqaha they combine them.
No, they cannot combine.
I think Sheikh.
Everybody's.
Just combine them, Sheikh.
Huh?
Just combine them.
No, no, wajib. No.
Oh,
I did the must itself.
Yeah,
The
why-
must itself. Yes.
Right.
And choosing between renewing or not renewing. That stands
with the water, right?
with the water.
Mubah.
But wouldn't that be
Yes.
like another branch?
No, it's
About
not.
renewing or not?
No. It's just like renewing or not renewing.
Who decided
You come and say, I don't care if I will renew today. I will not renew tomorrow.
Who decided that?
Huh?
Who decided that?
The asl.
Yeah, the asl. I mean, I can.
Asl
I can
decided.
choose. I can choose. Right?
But how do you go to that? How do you go to that end with that result? What process you take that end with that result, Sheikh?
Not like
Both are correct.
being neutral. Both are correct. Both are okay.
What also did you follow for that, Sheikh? Because they're one that so there's two hadith that agree on the same asl, and then but they have two different processes.
No. Okay.
Mubah?
Okay.
What's-
Two different things. They agreed on making mas on the udhun.
Yes.
Correct. Masah and udhun
That's-
is wet.
You don't
Yes.
do it,
What- right.
Yeah.
Good. Now, they disagreed in the same two people, or many of them, on renewing or not renewing.
Using the same water.
Can you say, you know what? Renewing is right, not renewing is wrong.
No, renewing is mubah.
Not renewing?
is also mubah.
That's it. So
But
you are
Mas is wet.
is wajib.
But what proof is that? What proof do you have for that, Sheikh?
Sheikh.
Is that ilm al-ghururi?
Huh?
Which ilm is
علم
that?
مكتسب.
Yes.
But how did you reach that result then, Sheikh? You just use your common sense.
No. The proof is from the
From the
Sahaba
Sahaba
who demonstrated
who demonstrated
how the Prophet made wudu.
one renewed, the other one did not renew. So that's my origin. Okay, the one who renewed saw him, the one who didn't saw him. I said, okay, I don't care. I'm gonna.
Sheikh, maybe we
But
If I wanna-
can another faqih come and say no?
You cannot do masah.
Yeah.
No, that you can't, that you have to, you cannot renew the water, you have to do both.
No, the fuqaha, they were like the job of the fuqaha is not. They don't tell you like when a difference happen because they all know that every mas'ala has a. But they will base and defend what they think that is the correct opinion based on the understanding of the asl. They will remain. You cannot come. Okay, Imam Shafi, we just give
Which
up.
is why we accept all the four
Exactly.
grounds.
Don't give up this one. Give
So,
up. We can come together.
No, I'm not saying I'm just saying what process you go to say that wiping with the same water is mubah.
Let me give you an example.
How can you say that it's not rewarded? What
It's
process you go?
No, it's not rewarded.
How can you say that? You follow the sunnah, right?
Yeah, that's not. When you say sunnah, also coming out of here is not a problem. Is it? So you give him a definition of sunnah of the Al-Hadith. That's where the problem is.
Okay.
So when you come here, we just focus on these ones. So when you want to use sunnah, that's another knowledge, and we'll come to that.
Okay, fine. That'll be mandub.
There will be.
Can a faqih come and say doing it with both with the same water is mandub?
No, there's no room for it because it's optional.
How's that?
Well, that's a good question. I think, why is it not mandu? Can you answer that?
Why is it mandub? Is the person, if it is mandub, then one will be wrong and one will be right, or one will be better, one will be less bad,
Oh, I see.
and they're all
Well,
in
then,
the
well,
same.
then one will be mandub, the other will be makruh. If you leave doing it with the same water, then you reward it.
No, it's optional here. The one who did renewing, thinking that is what he is supposed to do, and the one who did not renewing, they're all the same. No one is rewarded by performing renew or renewing.
Do you have another example?
Hmm?
Is there proof for that?
Yes, that's a proof.
I think Sheikh, you mentioned this when you started. This
That
group.
is the proof is you always this is the proof. This is the happen. We have the origin. We brought it. We upgraded and we relocated here.
Is it because when he was shown it, he didn't say, and Rasulullah said, if you do it with both, you do it with
No,
same water, you
no,
reward it.
that's the, if he said that, then fiqh is going to do
Yeah,
anything.
I'm saying that because there's the absence of that. That's why it's mubah.
Yes, that's this guy didn't say anything about it. When they made a wudu, they said, "Hakada." This is how I saw the Prophet making a wudu. This is how I saw the Prophet ﷺ making a wudu. So here, one thing here. Take it two parts. One is if a person makes a wudu and they did not wipe their ear. They're missing fard, right? Good. If a person makes a wudu, two people make a wudu, they all wipe. One renewed, and the other one did not renew. Who has more reward?
I need a delil for that.
Oh,
Say it doesn't matter.
depends.
No.
How many accounts from the Sahaba are there of the Prophet making wudu? Number one. Number two is, did we ever get directly from the Prophet where there was a bigger, where he was teaching?
Yeah, so the guy who got it are the guys who pictured it for us.
So how many guys?
A lot of them.
I mean, I want to focus on that. I'll focus on, is it because they did specify, that Prophet ﷺ specified that there's a reward for doing the same water?
No.
They didn't say anything about
No.
reward.
There's something called reward.
They just said, this is how you do wudu. That's it.
No, I'm saying, because they didn't say that, there's no foundation for us to say there's a reward or there's no
Even,
reward.
let's say, I'm going to go to another level. If Uthman said, or Ibn Mas'ud said, then that will remove us from this situation or the situation. Which one is going to choose? Or the Sahabi? That's usul fiqh.
We don't know enough information to
So
give you.
usul fiqh is qawl al-sahabi.
Yeah.
There's a principle called qawl al-sahabi, a statement of a sahaba. هل يعتبر حجة أم لا?
Mhm.
A qawl al-sahabi, is it considered evidence or not? They said, إن لم يعارضه صحابي مثله. If he was opposed by the same sahaba, the same level as him, then that will become hujjah. But here, they all oppose each other. So you cannot choose this and leave that one
Okay.
I wanna
at the
ask
same level.
How
So
about-
that will makes it remain in the same level of, if you do it, you're okay. If you don't do it, you're okay. But if you say a reward and not a reward, it's a problem.
Okay, that's what I was, they have also for it though.
Yeah, it's also there.
That's what I was asking for. Shaykh.
Yeah, exactly. So you always, what makes it concrete? You don't go out of here.
Mhm.
You always, if you put in a wajib, you always have to say wajib. And what makes you stay in wajib is you have asl for it. Mandub, you have asl for it. Mubah, you have asl for it. And it cannot go out of it. And makes it easier. Even though you'll find somebody, okay, this, but you just stay there. Now,
So, how many of the highest level Sahabi demonstrated the wudu?
so number one, you will need to know the level of the Sahaba, which we will learn. because the levels of the Sahaba, you know, who is the top and why they're top. And they also, if a Sahabi who is top in the Quran against a Sahabi who's top in Hadith, which one are you going to use? Which one are you going to use? And all those things. That's a full, like. But now, if you go to the wudu, it reached to a level of mutawatir. Mutawatir. But not mutawatir lafdhan or ma'nan. It is mutawatir, right? Not mutawatir lafdhan or ma'nan. Mutawatir lafdhan or ma'nan is when the hadith is narrated minimum of 4 people, right? And it gives the same wording and the same meaning. But this one is not. Each one of them have a different description. A different description of it. So, bringing all those, if it is more than, if the hadith reached in the level of a tawatur in an action, that makes it easy if they have differences of wording it or explaining it, or if they miss something, or one brought something, or the other one didn't bring anything. Or finally we came out and say, okay, we have ishkali, we have a problem here. Did they renew or they didn't renew? That becomes neutral. That becomes optional. You cannot taghlib, they call taghlib, you cannot choose one over the other one. It remains neutral. It's gonna stay. If you do it, you're okay. If you don't do it, you're okay. You will be rewarded by choosing either of those ones.
Okay.
But the asl is done with just the masah. I want to give an example of going to the sujood also. Take it, put it in your hands, put it in your knees first. This is how they have a problem with. They have a argument with that.
And is that what the Prophet said?
Yeah, after the Prophet. After, yeah. So now all ilm al-darura we got it, right? Ilm al-muktasab we got it. So ilm al-muktasab is one is bin nadar. For example, ilm al-nadar is what they call,
Examination.
examination, experimentation, right? Experiment, right? That is ilm al-nazar. So you're putting things together, and which is more like in science and math and all those things, right? That's what we call ilm al-nazar. It's part of it because you also need it. Actually, math, let's say math, for example. Math is not ilm al-istidlal. Math is not knowledge of proof, evidence in the Quran and Sunnah, right? It's ilm al-nazar. But do we need it in the Sharia? Of course we need hisab in the Sharia. Because without math, you cannot know what is called mirath, ilm al-mirath, okay? Zakah and all those things. So we need ilm al-nazar, the same way we need ilm al-istidlal. So both have to be known. That's why in the Qadim al-Zaman, the alim have to be very strict in knowing hisab, which is math. Very strict. They have ilm al-hisab. Very, very, very strict in order to know ilm, to math, and also a lot of things that is concerning their Sharia. And that's the fuqaha, they need to know that. So that ilm al-muktasab is for two parts, ilm al-nazar wa ilm al-istidlal. Nazar is what you examine and you find the result and you use it in order to also...
Can you write, Sheikh? Can you write that 2 parts?
ilm al-nazar. Recall it?
Ilm al-nazar? Ilm al-istidlal.
علم النظر النظر علم الاستدلال.
That both falls under ilm al-muktasab.
Yes. So علم المكتساب is based on علم النظر والاستدلال. علم النظر is the knowledge of the examine, right? Which is what we have in our academic studies, right? علم الاستدلال. So it shows you that if you just limit here and you don't have here, you'll always need the one from here to combine what you get. Because it gives the completion of being able to give a ruling. How can you say, this person, how can you put the mirath together? Even though some of the mirath need ijtihad. Yes, how can you put that together? Yes, you need sometimes ilm al-nazar, and you need also ilm al-istidlal in order to put that together.
Ilm al-istidlal is the knowledge of proofs?
Istidlal, yes.
Okay.
Dalil.
This is a proof or a research?
No, this is dalil.
This is different.
This is dalil. Istidlal is,
Plural of dalil.
yeah.
No, that's not.
No. Plural is dalil. You have dalil. You have adilla. You have adilla. Istidlal is you're using the dalil to prove something.
Okay.
That's istidlal. Knowledge of proving.
Oh, okay.
Yes, knowledge of proving. It's istidlal.
Is that like ism fa'al?
Yeah, it's fine. Istidlal is proving. Knowledge of proving. So this is what we need to know. But I will always refer to these things. This is the key. And remember, we are doing fiqh, but that's not our goal. But he is telling you what fiqh is, which is the easiest thing. This is the easiest thing. If you said usul fiqh, it's going to be difficult. So, but when you get this right, that's it. You don't have, when you go back to studying fiqh, you know what fiqh is dealing with. It's dealing with how to put the action in, for example, you go out, it's snowing. Can you make tayammum in snow? Do you have a hadith or dalil or Quran saying that you can make tayammum on snow?
Wait, what's your question, Sheikh?
Can you make tayammum on the snow?
There's no hadith saying that you can't make it on the snow, no.
So how, where can you put that?
You could use the hadith on the ground, right? That you mentioned in the.
So where can you find it?
It's also a hadith.
What is the asl?
I
No,
don't have-
it's not a hadith.
Huh?
Yes.
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 Oh.
So where are you gonna put it? You said, huh?
And a jacket.
And so we have to find a way to know that, okay, you can make your process of being able to have your tayammum is sahih. It's correct, right? Which is you can make tayammum on the snow, right? Can you pray in your car sitting because it's snowing, it's freezing?
I did, yes.
Huh? He said, yes, I did, right?
I was outside in Madison.
Yeah.
And it was snowing, and I did.
Yeah, but you did it. But then you have to issue a fatwa, you have to issue a hukum. Can it be done?
You said,
That's the we all did it.
Where can we find it? What's the asl?
الأصل ضرورة.
ضرورة. You see? Now ضرورة تبيح
محظورات.
محظورات. That's asl. ضرورات. ضرورات تبيح المحظورات. Necessities open the doors of ease, right? It was blocked, but your necessity, you push the door and then you do it and you come back. You come back. So where do you get that from? From the asl.
أصل.
That's usul al-fiqh. That's the benefit of usul al-fiqh. You don't get usul, you get nowhere. Man hurrim al-usul, hurrim al-usul.
Another question is that
Stop.
the way Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam made